Oh, yeah. Make it good for you. Huh.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Here we are
That's-
live.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks. I'm just gonna do the show like this then. Nice job. Here you go, Broham.
Something in the backpack. Yeah.
I'll take the day off.
That doesn't even work either, does it?
Stop touching it.
Here, how's that? Is that better?
No, once you're live, you stop touching it. That's the rule. That's the rule.
Oh
Everybody
my
knows the
gosh,
rule.
who knew? Welcome to the Backpack Show, where we talk to you about how to set up the mics.
We have guests for many of the coming weeks. We don't have one for today.
You're stuck with
So-
us, birches. But we do have topics because we went and looked for some. Backpack Show. This is a beautiful background. You know where you could have a good background is in your studio.
No, you mean where I am? That's what I was
could.
complaining about mine, not yours.
Oh, you must have your like that really
Yes.
awesome setup.
Yeah.
When you're in
So I was
Tennessee.
watching the intro going, oh, I really like that background,
Yeah.
but I did not like the oppression.
Well, you
So-
can ship up the bookshelf,
Mm.
put it there, and I'll just move my table.
Yeah, just move
I'll move-
everything.
I'll move where I have my.
I'll just
dinner.
recreate my stuff like in here. It'll be Carrie's corner with a K.
Carrie's corner. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Chloe. Hi, Carol. So we have a very few topics today. We're going to walk through. I just put them together, and Carol arriving is a funny timing because Threads has launched, and she said, "Are you going over to Threads?" And I said, "No." Threads is the Instagram / Meta Twitter clone, and everybody's all
Okay.
jumping right on those wagons.
People say it's fun. I was just talking to my friend Anne last night, and she said it's fun, and I was like, "Cool, I'll take your word for it."
Yeah.
I haven't tested
Tens
out.
of millions of users since it launched on Wednesday.
Yeah, because they're already
There's
connected
a
up to
billion users
Instagram,
on
and
Instagram.
yeah. So it's not like that big a percentage when you think about it.
Yeah. There's some interesting conversations going on right now around some of the bigger technology people in the world. Like Mark Cuban asked a question to Mark Zuckerberg and said, "Hey, are you going to keep it kind of close knit like this?" Because right now there's this sort of sense that it's, not for the masses or whatever. And Zuck said, "Yes, I think that would be good." And
He's lying though, because if more people wanted to use it, he'd be like, "F yeah, come over."
he uses it to make his money. So
Mhm.
like, how couldn't you do that? So
Nice.
it's definitely not my cup of tea, only because I really think it's just because of Twitter fatigue. A lot of people are reporting it feels like the good old days of Twitter. So
Well, it probably will until it doesn't, just like
Right.
Twitter did.
once you're live, you stop touching it. That's the rule. It's so funny
See?
without context. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what she said. I trust Zuck as far as I can throw him.
That's smart.
That's probably reasonable.
Although you could probably throw him a good distance. He's kind of wiry, no? Like-
No, I think he started gaining some muscle because he's getting
Oh.
ready to try to do that cage fight with Musk.
Oh, good luck with
Yeah,
that.
they challenged each other, billionaire cage
Nerd
fighting.
fight.
Yeah, probably slapping.
So
this-
you're not going to try it just to see what it's.
Threads,
Actually, you
no.
blew up all your stuff
I
on
killed
Facebook
all of
and Instagram,
it,
so
yeah.
you probably can't.
I didn't want.
You're like banned.
So the minute Zuckerberg capitulated to Russia to put a data center down on Russian soil, like they forced him to do it, I was like, well, then we know what that's about. They're going to just slurp the data. I just said, you know what? I'm not giving away my data anymore. Not that I think the Russian government wants my data, but
Your likes are going to be so valuable.
I just was like, I didn't like the posture. So I figured other companies, well, and maybe like other ones are there. Maybe Twitter's there. I don't
So
know.
I have my account. I barely use either of them, and I keep them only so someone else doesn't take them, like with my name. Check out the data collected by Insta and Threads. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they if they could?
Yeah.
It's like, but you shouldn't. I mean, just as a good practice, you shouldn't gather data without a clear intention to use it for something.
Right.
Don't get it just to have it. And then once you've collected what you're going to use, stop, and maintain the privacy of it. I think data hygiene is not often talked about. It's not sexy, but like it's important.
Carol said, but you don't think that some of these things are inevitable? I don't, with
What
data,
things?
data collection and all that sort of thing.
Oh,
And I, there's a lot of really kind of related stuff. I mean, look, I was in the heart of social media back in the day. I would tell you everything I ate. I still show you pictures of my food. That's how we started this show. So I don't know. It's almost more like, I think, fatigue. But then I was also thinking business wise, there's only two things Threads can do. They can use the data to continue filling out their data model. They can advertise on it. Neither of those things, Threads is not a thing I need, I guess, is what I ended up thinking. Not like, just like Twitter wasn't a thing I needed, but Twitter gave me something. I saw some magic in it early on because it was kind of a gate jumping technology. It let me go past a lot of people. And so that's why I don't really exactly care super much.
But I think the younger generations care I don't know how to put it. No, I want to say in a different way, but basically they don't give you their real name. They don't use their real photo. They don't do any of the things that we kind of like, whatever, the older generation did on our social media. So what data is being collected will not trace back to them the same way our data traces back to us.
That's true. Angel, by the way, hello, Sailor. I think that this gives an opportunity for something else to fill the gap. So some people were saying Mastodon. I still don't see Mastodon being.
Oh my gosh, Jeremiah Aoyang just tweeted that Mastodon like deleted his account for reasons like he doesn't even know why. It's just gone. So I think so you don't kind of know what's going on over there.
Blue Sky is doing a little bit better.
Heard of that one.
I do think microblogging does sort of matter.
But do you think that there's ever going to be another huge thing everyone's on? Because my kids,
TikTok.
Well, sure, but like they're not all looking at the same things anywhere.
Right.
So they get into their discords with the people they know to talk about the things they like, and they don't kind of wander more broadly than that.
I feel the same way. I heard someone say that tells you how much people hate Elon. He made us like Zuck.
Oh,
that's. I won't go that far, but I will say of the two, I guess I have to pick Zuck.
I would just like opt out. Are we allowed to just opt out? Go into my like walled city away from.
This made me want to check in on the other technology. I think won't go as far as people swear it will, at least in its current standing. Apple Vision Pro. That's the big scuba mask you put on your face for $3,500.
Like Google Glass. 2.0.
Google Glass 2.0.
Yeah.
I just read a big report from a leaking source saying that multitudes of people are reporting horrible discomfort and it's too heavy and clunky and dumb feeling. I get it. It's an early stage, but that's not a good first feel for an Apple product, by the way. And
I'm surprised. I would have thought it would be smaller than Google Glass because kind of the only way it would work is if it was very unobtrusive.
And it was doubly obtrusive. It was
crazy,
much more obtrusive.
Do you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, or like maybe say a few months in, that people were not into masks and all this stuff? Somebody came out with, they were calling it, not the person making it, people at large were calling it like a douche helmet, but it was like a big glass helmet like you would wear underwater.
I saw that.
And like that. That's what this reminds me of, Apple Vision.
Yeah, so the Apple Vision Pro, it's off to a clunky start. The other thing they're saying is that you might have to schedule appointments for fittings and facial setup.
Because that's the thing we all want to do.
Well, right. And so I was going to say one of my thoughts of things like Threads, so I put this up on Twitter just before we started the show. One of my sets of criteria for is something going to be where everyone wants to be? Is this something we can even see people in the middle of the country using?
Ooh, no.
And I don't see like two dudes in Indiana whipping out their Apple Vision Pros on a tractor brake. I think there's going to be something like it. There's a great TED Talk showing this guy. He has like in his shirt pocket computer that flings like a big giant, you can wear glasses with it, but it's just light, soft looking glasses that flings like a 15-foot screen, but it's the opposite of all that weight and heft. I think that'll be closer to.
Do you watch Black Mirror?
Yes.
So Bryce Dallas Howard was in an episode where they have it's like an implant, right? An ocular implant or like a fancy contact lens or something.
Right.
But that's what I thought Apple Vision would be, something closer to that, like small, so you don't even see it.
Maybe it'll be Star Wars. Maybe it'll be holograms. We'll just get a couple of droids around.
I sort of prefer that.
With the data being collected, I fear that it will be exposed that I am the most boring person on the planet.
Oh my God, it's so true though.
Chris stayed in last night. That's Carrie, what's Incogni? You put on something about Incogni. Tell me a little bit about that.
So So if you've ever found your personal information, speaking of data, like your home address, for example, on one of those white pages type websites, they scrape publicly available information. It used to be sort of hard to find somebody's home address. Like before the internet, you'd have to know roughly where they were from so you could kind of like find a phone book from there and look them up. Not a thing anymore. And mortgages used to be really hard to find. You'd have to know what county, what state, go looking in the books. Like then you could get everything. They used to even put people's social security numbers in the registry, like of deeds,
Oh my
on
gosh.
because they would file the mortgage and the mortgage had that. Anyway, you could get a bunch of stuff, but you had to know where to look. Not true anymore. Now people have aggregated all that data online and they just serve it up to whoever. It's not even, they don't even charge most people for it. Like for your home address, people get that free, your phone number and stuff. So Incogni sends out opt-out requests en masse because there are hundreds of these sites. So you could try to find them yourself one at a time and request them to take your stuff down and then double check to see if they've done it, which is like 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
But Incogni, and then they'll put it back or there'll be another. It's like whack-a-mole. So Incogni does it. They send them out all at once. It's like a
So every time you say
subscription service.
incognito, it's basically incognito, but they cut off the toe.
Yep.
Okay.
So they could trademark it.
Oh.
Because if they did incognito, that's descriptive and it's harder to trademark. See?
I see that. And incognito mode is already a thing.
Correct.
By the way, evidently the retail industry is reporting losing over $1 trillion a year on sizing issues. Not having your size in, number one.
Oh, yeah. I just had this experience. So I had a pair of sneakers I was using just for exercising. And then I liked them a lot. And I thought I should get another one, you know, just for when these like bum out or whatever. But when I got them, they were maybe half a size too small for whatever reason. It's same size. I ordered the same size, but if it was smaller. So I went to order them in a bigger size. And Zappos was like, yeah, we're super sorry about that. We like can't find the ones we said we had. So never mind. And so, yeah. So they say they have it and then they can't find it. And so I guess they don't have it.
So they're saying millions of times a day, online shopping people are going, oh, I love that. Do they have that in a double extra medium? And they're not finding it. And that's because of supply chain issues. On the other hand, I saw another thing saying that the digital sizing applications and technology have been failing people horribly.
That's not big surprise. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
because what are you supposed to do? Like, unless they could do really good scanning, like 3D printing level scanning.
That's what they're saying they're trying to do, but they're doing it on like your laptop. You know what I mean?
That's not gonna work.
You're not getting that.
No, you know how angles change the way a person looks. We've all seen it on Instagram.
Leslie points out on the title search and real estate search, I do that kind of search all the time at work because people don't realize how much is easily accessible online.
So easy.
Yeah.
So scary.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can find you a toe. You don't want to know how.
Hey, I got 10 of them.
10? What are you, from the north?
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
I am.
Let me see what else I have. In other retail related news, but not exactly, Amazon reports that they now have over 5,000 Rivian electric vehicles on the road. There's a few in my neighborhood. My little small
What
town
kind
in
of electric
Massachusetts.
vehicles?
Rivian,
What is that?
Rivin. It's
Yeah.
just it's a brand of car now.
Oh, you said that like that was a thing I should
No,
know.
Rivian's
Oh.
like a car company, like Ford
Okay.
is a car
So
company.
that's what the vans are. I guess
Yeah.
I never thought about what kind of vans they are.
Yeah, but they're EV, so they're all electric. So
Okay.
they're taking that much, fuel and fossil waste out of the air
Okay.
and putting it in the power plant where it belongs.
I was a little mad when I heard that they expect Amazon drivers to turn it off while they go into like drop a package off and then come back and whatever.
Well, they don't want you to have AC. Why would you want to be cool in your van outdoors?
But it's terrible conditions for those poor people.
This past week was the highest temperature measured on this planet Earth. 3 record-setting days all this last week.
And they're saying we're going to see more.
3, by the way, Inglourious Bastards.
I do that too. I do too.
Yeah, more record heat.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that global warming. It's completely not a thing. By the way, a lot of lakes and rivers drying up. Carol says, I just discovered that Amazon will come pick up an item I want to return. For me, that's a game changer. Yeah, they also have those returns at I don't know, Canada. They have it at Whole Foods. They have it at Kohl's department stores, and they have it at a bunch of other places.
In the United States, you can go to the UPS stores, with the United Parcel Service stores, and just drop it off. You don't even have to package it. You just have the thing, and you have a scan code, and they take it and they just like chuck it in a big box.
It's
with bunch
probably
of
a
other
U.S.
stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
So
It's the best.
Montreal might have really great bagels, but no place to deliver things back. Angel says for the Zappos thing, it's really common for search engine marketing teams to put up sizes as a hook, even though it's not in stock.
Which is crazy because am I ever going to buy one that's not my size?
So
No.
weird.
So what's the point? Like, it's
But
so
I
dumb.
get why SEM is not tied to logistics either. You know, that makes sense.
I suppose.
Figuring people will buy a different size or style.
Well, that's sort of okay. So this is like sidestepping, but I was thinking yesterday we were talking about social media and objectives for it and stuff. Sometimes, evidently, you get penalized for linking out to a different property. So if you put a thing on LinkedIn or Twitter that goes to a website, which is, by the way, all most brands ever want to do, you'll get not as much traction on it because they will not give it the visibility that if it was just native with no links out. And so the social media person presenting said, well, obviously we want to build our following. So, we'll put a lot of native stuff. And I'm thinking, cool, but why build your following if you're never going to be able to use it to get people off that
right.
network?
If you can't push them out, then who gives a shit?
What is the point?
Yeah.
I'd almost rather just put the stupid link and build the following of people who actually are interested in what we're sharing. I don't know. That was my 2 cents. I did not share it at the time.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
We had a hailstorm with pellets as big as ping pong balls. Oh
Nice.
my gosh. Sandwiched between 2 heat waves, literally within 2 days. Take that, climate change deniers.
Do you remember years and years and years ago, there was a Donald Duck cartoon where they raised a sunken aircraft carrier by filling it with ping pong balls?
I do not.
It's pretty amazing. Look it up.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Fun fact, first time I was in a Kohl's, the most people in the store were at the Amazon return desk. Not a good sign for
That's
Kohl's.
so depressing.
Well,
For Kohl's.
it's funny you say that. So in Haverhill, Massachusetts, down the highway a little bit from me, there's a Target store that my kids wanted to go to. So I went there. There used to be a Kohl's right beside it. It turned into an Amazon distribution hub. So it was a Kohl's that got repurposed.
There's not many reasons that I'm sad to have left the town I was in Tennessee, but one of them is it had an Amazon distribution center. So I would get my stuff like same day, a couple hours later.
Can you just drive by the back door, Carrie? We don't even need to send a
If
truck.
I didn't care about human rights, it was very convenient. Like, just chuck it out there. Literally, it would show up like within a couple hours sometimes.
That's
was
crazy,
nuts.
Tom.
Yeah,
That's crazy, Tom.
it was great.
I never thought about the search engine marketing. That's why we need Angel to come by more
Yes.
often. By the way, it turns out robots as surgeons, robots are better than human surgeons at injecting drugs into the back of your eyeball.
I'm not surprised.
You know,
I mean, it's precision targeting, right? That's
Yeah.
all it is.
steady hands. You
Yeah.
know,
So why wouldn't it be better? The
so
only
much.
downside is it cares a lot less about whether it gets it right. It's just like, this goes here.
If you say "ow," I'm
Yes.
sure the robot's like whatever. But yeah, robot surgeons.
Listening technology is pretty sophisticated now. Maybe it would actually.
Good listen.
it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. It makes me think of Matt Damon in Elysium because he has to go in for all kinds
Yeah.
of some surgical help, and
That's right.
it didn't go that well for him. It was not a good
Don't
experience.
spoil it.
That's available on Freeview right now.
Freeview. Why would you watch anything on Freeview? I'm ridiculous. I will always pay to not have commercials.
Amazon
I'll
acquired
always.
Freeview. I get to watch 4 commercials per 12 minutes. Thank you to watch Elysium.
Nope. I will pay happily. I won't even complain about it after. Like, I'm so happy to not have commercials.
Taking emotions out of it might actually be a good thing. Oh, well, that is true, right? Like, so say you're like, your other half files for a divorce as you're going into surgery
yeah.
or something like that.
Maybe.
The robot's not going to have that problem.
Yes, but if you watch that movie with Will Smith, we know that robots don't make decisions the way that people make decisions. And
Also true.
sometimes that we would prefer
Not so
a more
sweet.
human approach. Yeah.
Joel says, I actually get those injections, but from a human. Well, Joel, why don't you ask next time, hey, are there any robots
Can
around?
I have a robot, please?
I'd like to
So I had surgery last year, and I told the surgeon, who was a guy, before he did it, I just read a study in the Lancet that said that women with women surgeons have better outcomes when their surgeon is a female, like a woman. I hate saying female, but a woman surgeon does a better job on women than a male surgeon.
So wait, some kind of lady doctor?
Some kind of lady doctor. Men have equally good outcomes. And when I say outcomes, I mean some people have complications, some people die, and some people come out with the usual kind of inconveniences. So women were more likely to suffer inconveniences, death, and bad outcomes with a male surgeon than versus a female surgeon.
Wow.
So I told him that, and I said, "Do not F this up, buddy. I'm watching you. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I don't want to live without complications." So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
No pressure.
no problems after. So,
No
surprise.
pressure.
Yeah.
All right. My only last note after robot injectors is that evidently chatbots are out because
Oh,
Gartner says that of a big survey done of the last customer service interactions done with a variety of different companies,
okay.
only 8% of people were choosing the chatbot, which I was kind of, that to me, that's even higher than I thought it would have been.
Yeah.
Only 8%. But they said, and of,
A chat bot.
speaking of a chatbot, so related to that, they said that of the people who use the chatbot, only 8%, only 25% of them said they'd ever use a chatbot again.
Oh, so they clearly didn't get the response they're hoping
So
for.
3 out of 4 people hated the experience with a chatbot.
I guess that I could see that. They're kind of like ish. If you've ever tried one just for fun, they're not there yet.
Joel points out that robots that see robot surgeons will have terrific outcomes.
That's so true because they won't have those biases unless the developers had biases. It's the only other problem.
That's why we had Ashley Cephas on the show.
Yeah.
She was there too.
Mhm.
I just
Yeah.
realized.
So that's the thing. So any artificial intelligence is going to be programmed by someone, and that someone has biases. So you either and if you try to like introduce more developers into the process to even out the biases, now you just have more biases.
Right.
I don't know how you correct for that, like in coding.
I just realized my oldest child might need a ride right now. And it's
Oh.
just dawning on me like, oh, I should probably double check that
You should probably check on that.
because sometimes they're not even awake because children.
That's true though. So humans have their failings, and AI certainly has its failings. I'm seeing more and more about how marketers in particular should be using AI or shouldn't be using it, and should we be worried? There's a whole series from Marketing Profs right now of webinars. You can still register and access them kind of retroactively and going forward. But they have a whole series about things like writing in a way that artificial intelligence can't. So kind of like taking it past what the AI can do. Also for content people, good tools that you can use to help you kind of shortcut things that you're doing already so you can focus on the strategic and creative aspects, things like that. So check that out at marketingprofs.com if you're into that sort of thing.
You know, I was thinking about the fact that, so for instance, I'm friends with Kate Bradley Chernis and her folks at Lately.ai who do social AI. But then there's also companies like Grammarly. What Grammarly has done for years is AI. They just don't talk about it that way. Now they have to because everyone else is. But that whole idea, like I was just thinking about, and there's even a plugin, Angel would probably know which one. There's a WordPress plugin that tells you, are you writing, like what age level are you writing?
Like grade level?
Grade level. So you would think that high level would be good, but it is not. The lower the level, the better. And I am proudly a second and third grade writer.
Congrats.
I'm right in there with, Call of Duty fans.
I got so much better. So I dug up a piece of writing that I did when I think I'd just finished law school. So I was still pretty like highfalutin. And then redid it the way that I write now. And my grade level went down from, I want to say grade 7 to grade 4.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Keep
the word
going,
count,
though.
Shortened up the word count. And then, maybe someday I'll be as immature as you.
You got to get as childish as me. You'll catch right on.
I'll work on it. But it's just it's the combination. My writing did get a lot better in law school, but it was for a specific purpose. So subject, verb, object, like short sentences, short words, fewer words. That's still the credo I live by.
So there was a question, I think it was Joel asked the question. Oh no. So no, it's not wise to start a chatbot. Dean asked the question, does robot surgery mean lower cost or higher? That's a good question because it could be considered a premium or it might be considered the discount.
Well, development of the technology costs money. So until they recoup that expense, it's probably going to be more, right? Because,
yeah, I would think so.
Or at least on par.
Plus also, it's a procedure. You'd pay on the procedure, not the person doing it. Although, What I was gonna say comes up pretty racist, so I'm not gonna say it. But like I was gonna say, blank blank country surgeon would probably be discounted to some other.
Goodness gracious.
But
Well,
it's
no, that's
true.
true. So medical tourism is a thing.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
people go to other countries.
That's where my head
because
went.
Yeah,
It just sounds a little worse off the tongue.
you are correct.
Where I was going. Carol says Grammarly has added new AI options right at the pop-up screen. Yeah, it's everywhere now. It's the world is lousy with it because it's the new hot thing. It's glass.
They're just
touchscreens.
surfacing stuff they've already done. It's like, remember when, I can't remember which ingredient, but like some ingredient or other was supposedly found to be healthy. Next thing you know, every single packaged product is like, hey, we have this thing. And
fruit. I was thinking about what's that?
acai.
No, but like super fruits and all that.
Yeah, acai, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, it seems like they always want to advertise stuff that's been in the thing for years, just because now it's the latest.
Yeah, that's one. But no, the superfoods have a certain kind of blueberries.
Oh, antioxidants.
The antioxidants. That's the one I was thinking of. Suddenly, everything.
It has electrolytes.
Yeah,
it has what plants crave.
Yeah. And then like gluten free suddenly was on every package.
Gluten free, yeah, it'd be like on vegetable bags. It's gluten free.
There was a brothel that called themselves gluten free brothel.
Gluten free, yeah.
Dragon fruit. Oh gosh, talk about a poorly named product. Dragon fruit tastes like it's like the tofu of fruits. There's like almost no flavor to that bitch. But although you go to Starbucks and you would think it's a delicious.
I'm not going to Starbucks right now because the workers are striking.
Yeah.
Because of the treatment of LGBTQ employees. I haven't been gone this whole month.
Me neither.
And so I've probably cost them a lot of money all by myself.
I'm the only one who's happy I'm on the 14th hole of life, looking for the carefree 70s. I know what he's saying. Like he's 18 holes of golf.
Like, this is someone else's problem now.
Yeah. Dean, yeah. I'm not. I love the future stuff. I never feel like a grumpy old man about new technologies. I think AI is great. I think where it can be applied once we're done writing, how funny it looks with Joe Biden as a rapper. When we're done with that stage of AI, there's this really cool stuff you can do with like data, for instance. I can, in Microsoft Copilot for Excel, I can take a very complicated Excel sheet and say, am I doing better as a business or worse as a business? And Copilot will go, bloop, here's a report.
Worse.
That's the answer, but come on.
Well, it's an AI. It's not going to know to be like sensitive to your stuff. It'll just be like, wow, what happened this year?
That's the thing I'm sensitive about.
Well, it's interesting you're saying this phase of AI because there's another one where like I was just in a webinar about AI and somebody said she'd lost her job because her boss thought, oh, cool, we'll just have AI spit out marketing campaigns from now on. And it's a short-sighted thing, obviously, because you need people to do certain creative parts of it, more strategic parts of it. And somebody actually lost their job because of AI, but that business is going to have to hire back eventually. They're going to figure it out that you need people who know how to use the AI and create prompts and, use the data in an intelligent way and interpret it. And they're not like, right now, they're not factoring that in. It's like, yay, free stuff.
They're not. Scott Caldwell showed off one of my old Owner Media Group shirts. He says, I'm rocking a throwback here in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Love it.
Love that shirt.
Yeah, looks good.
That was.
I have a numbered heading shirt. It's mine today.
And I'm going with the dude from Johnny Cupcake.
I love Johnny Cupcake.
Because it's basically me. I think this is just a bit skeptical about that one. It's my threads. Yeah. Like the thing. So I've never considered myself a futurist. And the reason I don't is because, first off, I was raised by my dad, whose every bet on the future was wrong. My dad 100% of the time picked the technology.
It's not true. He married your mother.
Bets on the future. Well, okay. Bets on his family future. Okay. His bets on technology futures was wrong. I don't have a good eye for it.
Did you buy a Beta?
He was every one of those things. He bought a Studio 2 from Magnavox. He had a Ford Pinto, the exploding ones. So
my dad was actually really good at it. Anyway.
So I am not a futurist because the only thing I've ever picked utterly right was things like Twitter. Back in 2006, I said, holy cow, this is amazing. And everyone said, you're an idiot. And it took years. And then everyone was like, this is amazing. And then a few years after that, it was awful.
I remember when my husband, Dan, told me about YouTube. And I was like, why the hell would I want that? Why would I want to watch randoms? I mean, sometimes I still feel that way.
I talked to what's his name? The guy who used to run Disney Interactive, ABC Disney Interactive, in the hallway at 2006 in the fall, and he said, "I don't." He goes, "We own America's Funniest Home Videos. Why would I need YouTube? It's the same thing." That was his view of YouTube.
Yeah.
And how wrong he was, you know.
Oh, I mean, I was wrong too. I love YouTube. But at the time, in fairness, what was on YouTube was not representative of what was to come. So
Right.
I did not see the potential. I saw what was there
Right.
and did not appreciate it.
My owner shirt doesn't fit anymore. Well, look at
Aw.
that, Joel. We can use it as a goal.
You can make it into a quilt. Get some other concert t-shirts and nice t-shirts that you don't wear anymore and
Yeah.
like make them into a nice quilt.
Quilts are always good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a futurist. One of the things I do think, though, is like I said, that set of rules. Like, is it something somebody in the Midwest would use? Does it fill any kind of a hole? There are, for instance, there's a technology. It's not AI, but there's a video editing technology called Veed.io, Veed.io.
Okay.
It is inexpensive. It is super fast and easy to use. It is so much easier to use than a lot of the video editing technology out there. The only problem is it in no way accounts for a human doing what real people who make video do, which is multitudes of clips. You have to put each little clip in one at a time. You can't drag the pile, so it's dead to me.
That's
until
why you
it
need
fixes it.
lately.
Lately we do well, but for editing, I need to use it to pile some stuff up.
Transcription is one of those things that everyone says you should use AI for. And I see that as a starting point.
Transcription for sure.
But we have a transcriptionist that we use who starts that way, but then goes through and like fixes things that are obviously wrong, adds context, adds links, like she puts links in, puts branding in and stuff. And I still feel like that's valuable.
I think so too.
If the AI got smart enough that it could find the links and add them, you know, or I give them the links or something and they put them in the right places, then that'd be different. But for the moment, I still think you need to eyeball something before you put it out there just because AI did it. For example, when Katie Robert and I did our Punch Out podcast, we would have auto transcriptions run just for our own show notes sake. And it would call me Carry a Gun, Carrie Gorgone, and she was Katie Robbery.
Katie Robbery.
Katie Robbery is amazing.
Carry a gun.
Carry a gun.
For that Katie Robbery.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, the two of us together are like perfect.
I'm
pair.
supporting it. Look at that. Hey, Martin, how are
Hey.
you? Good to see you.
We're good.
Welcome on board.
Best day so far today.
Yeah, top 5.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think there's going to be places where it makes sense. I think there's places where it's not. But look,
Well, if you're in marketing or business, I guess, especially learn to use AI as the moral of the story and figure out where you can add value while using it versus ignoring it. Like, don't try to ignore it. It's not going to work.
yeah, what least will be useful is ignoring
Yeah.
new tech as it comes along. Why am I ignoring Threads? Because it's not new tech. It's Twitter. I've been there, used it. I'm all
It's because
good.
you're grumpy.
I am.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Chip.
My wit is weak today.
That's not
That's the one you're
That's
working
not the
for?
message of the day. I'm just
Oh.
picking Chip
The
because
threshold.
Chip hasn't come to the show lately. I just wanted to
That's
bribe him to
true.
come back. I've missed
We
Chip.
do.
Carrie laughing out loud at comment about your husband's YouTube suggestions and your response and AI names.
It's so true.
Good to see you. But yeah, Chip, you're the guy. Because
And that's awesome. I have a book Annette sent us. She sent you one and sent me one.
I was gonna say I have the book Annette sent us 10 feet away from me in front of my face hole.
I'm very happy.
So it's a good one.
Thank you for that.
Your bribery, Chip. That's how I learned how to parent.
Bribery?
Bribery. That's my parenting style. So
Oh, I was terrible. Am terrible, I guess. I still parent.
yeah, you do still. Is that
Yeah, I do.
Carrie? What's
It's not really an
something-
option to stop.
There's only one, and it's not a good one. Carrie, what is something you're going to put in your backpack today? Don't say kindness.
Oh, I have to.
You can't.
It's my penance.
Here's what I found.
Oh, thank you.
Yours
Saving
has
the
like
day.
a British person accent.
Yeah, you
Oh.
can pick. You didn't know you can pick the voice that it has. I feel classier when I have a British assistant.
Turn left. Oh
I
no!
tried the Australian one and it wasn't as good. Like for some reason, British makes me feel
You've
fancy,
munched it up.
like having a British butler.
Mm,
Yeah, so
I see.
I think
a servant.
I will put compassion in the backpack because I'm not a patient person, and I size people up in things and situations pretty quickly. And then I have no patience for waiting for people to catch up from my assessment. So I'm gonna add compassion.
Compassion. All right. Well, I'm gonna put my prayer beads my mom made me. Is that gonna work? That works. I'm
They're
gonna
so
put my
nice.
prayer beads my mom made me. Even if I'm not using them to pray and meditate, I use them to fidget a lot, and I do use them to remind me to breathe a little more measured. So beads it is.
Your mom's the best.
My mom's swell. Technology story. Not that this is in place anymore, but Las Vegas, outside the Venetian, just launched their $2.1 billion orb, and a
That's
sphere.
an expensive
No,
orb.
they're calling it Sphere, I guess. So
Oh.
if you go to LV Sphere, I think it is on Twitter, you can
Okay.
look up some crazy ass graphics it does. Just some of the visuals are insane, and some of the times it looks so photorealistic that you're like, how did they Photoshop this into this picture? So it's crazy. I can't believe it's going to be sitting out in front of
That's
my
so cool.
eyeballs every night when I'm trying to sleep in April.
Well,
great.
I don't go to those big events, so get to see
No,
it.
but I'll send you postcards.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'll put it in my backpack.
You know what tech my grandma wouldn't use?
Backpack Show.
Couple seconds, and then you'd have to
You'd have to
get
go
new
back.
batteries.
Go back downstairs, get new batteries.